They mocked the one-legged alien girl at the slave auction until a human changed her fate forever. The auction square on the planet Zarekk V was choked with dust, heat, and apathy. Cages lined the sandstone walls, each holding beings of various species, broken, beaten, barcoded. Crowds milled in the square like flies over rotting meat, voices rising over the din as buyers haggled over prices like cattle at a meat market. A tall auctioneer, his scales glistening under the twin suns, slammed a rod on the platform. Next up, one-legged female, Thari hybrid. Strong spine, decent teeth, not much else left. But hey, he gave a cruel grin. You'll get her for half price. There was scattered laughter, but most turned away. No one wanted a cripple, even a pretty one. She was wheeled out in a broken cart, skin a shade of muted violet, caked in dirt. Her long platinum hair hung like a forgotten banner. One leg ended mid-thigh, wrapped in makeshift bandages. The other was chained to the cart. Her golden eyes stared straight ahead, defiant even now. Elias Granger watched from the back. He wasn't here to buy. He never planned to walk into a slave market at all. The Azura Run, his old freighter, needed coolant seals, and the port mechanic had pointed him toward the bazaar. But now his boots were planted and his gaze locked on her. There was something in the girl's eyes, not fear, not even pain. It was fury, caged and mocked, yes, but not broken. Not yet. The auctioneer's voice caught again, starting at 10 credits. 10. That's a steal. Silence. 5 credits. Still nothing. Granger raised a hand. Sold. To the pink-skinned spacer with a hero complex. The auctioneer barked with a sneer. Granger didn't flinch. He just walked forward, took the rusted key from the handler's belt, and unlocked the cart chain. She didn't move. "You gonna kill me too?" she said, her voice rasping like gravel. Granger shook his head. "No, kid. I'm here to give you a chance." Getting her into the ship was harder than expected. She refused to be carried. So she crawled, dragging herself across the sun-baked road, biting her lips when the gravel tore her palms. He walked beside her, silent. Only once they were inside the Azura Run did she collapse. He didn't ask questions that night. Instead, he gave her water, food, silence. It was 3 days before she spoke more than a sentence. "Why did you buy me?" she asked, sitting on the medbed as he adjusted the temporary prosthetic he'd scavenged from the cargo bay. "You look like you were worth saving," he said simply. She snorted. "I'm missing a leg. So was my old CO. Didn't stop him from leading an armored brigade across Sarnak Ridge." She looked at him then, curiosity cracking through her cynicism. "Your military?" "Was. Earth Legion. Retired now." She nodded slowly. "I'm Kura. Elias." Over the next 2 weeks, she barely left her room. He gave her space. She learned to use the prosthetic quickly, stubborn and silent, falling often, but never asking for help. Granger caught her once crying in the engine room, muffling the sobs against the metal wall. He said nothing. Instead, the next day, she found a custom brace at her door, welded from scrap but carefully shaped for comfort. Kira stared at it for a long time before picking it up. That night, she joined him in the cockpit. "You know engines?" he asked when she pointed out the flutter in the fusion stabilizer. "I knew ships. Before the raids." She didn't elaborate, and he didn't press. But soon, she was helping with repairs, then co-piloting, then charting routes. She laughed one night when they dodged a pirate ambush. It was the first time he heard it. It startled him. Months passed. They became something like a crew, then something like a family. But peace was never permanent in this part of the galaxy, especially not for a girl like Kira. It started on Tarkin Moonport. A scanner drone pinged her ID while they were buying parts. Before Granger could react, 3 enforcers had surrounded her. "Stolen property," one growled. That caller ID says she's marked for the auctions. You'll both be detained. Kira didn't flinch. She was still as stone. Granger stepped forward, slow and firm. I bought her legally. Check the registration. We did. That registration was wiped last cycle. She's tagged as rogue merchandise. I'm not property, Kira whispered. Her hands clenched. The lead enforcer reached for his baton. That was a mistake. She moved like lightning, grabbing his wrist, twisting hard. The crack echoed. The man screamed. The other two pulled weapons. Granger fired first. He wasn't proud of what happened next. But they got out. Barely. In the silence of hyperspace, Kira sat curled in the engine room, arms around her knees. They'll come after me, she murmured. They always do. Granger knelt beside her. Then we make them stop coming. She looked at him. Come with me to Earth. She blinked. Earth? We'll get your record scrubbed. Hell, I'll register you as a citizen. You've earned it. She shook her head. They won't let me. They will, he said quietly, if I tell them what you did at Tarkan and what you've done for me. Kira hesitated. I'm not a hero, Elias. I'm broken. He placed a hand on her shoulder. You're not broken. You're forged. Earth was colder than she expected. Blue skies, ancient trees, smells she couldn't name. The Earth Legion compound welcomed them with suspicion. But Granger still wore his veteran tags. He made calls, pulled strings. A tribunal heard her case. A scarred old general read her file. You're the starry girl from Zarekk, he muttered, surprised. You survived. She nodded. And you saved our man at Tarkan. That too's in the report. Kira stayed silent. The general leaned forward. We've had others, Thari. You're different. You want a shot at something more. What do you mean? Training. Education. Service. Kira stared. You want me to be military? I want you to choose. For once. 2 years later, Granger sat in the front row of the Earth Legion's graduation ceremony, watching the cadets file in. Third row, right side, there she was. Kira stood proud in her uniform, her golden eyes clear, her hair tied back. The prosthetic leg gleamed silver, standard issue now, custom fitted and battle ready. When her name was called, the hall erupted. She walked forward, head high, back straight. Not broken, not half-priced, just herself. And as she accepted her badge, she turned to the crowd. Only one person mattered. She found him, Elias, standing now, tears in his eyes. She saluted. He saluted back, not as owner and property, not as savior and saved, but as equals, as family, as humans in spirit, if not in blood. And across the galaxy, in places where auctioneers still laughed, whispered stories began to circulate about a girl once sold in a cart, and the human who saw her worth long before anyone else.